This video is sponsored by Gate.io. If you set an account up using the link in the description, you'll get 25% back on all your spot and futures fees for life. Gate.io. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these charts then, shall we? Mostly, first of all, we'll start with Bitcoin on the daily. So yesterday we were saying about, look, if there's an opportunity to be had, it'll be when it pulls back into a Bollinger Band, since reclaiming it, a retest of that, especially with the 10 exponential hanging around at that level, would have been a good place to try a bounce. And look, there you have it. It bounced more or less on the tick. It's a little... It's not perfect, but it's mainly did the right thing. However, no follow through, not as yet. So you might get a second chance. Now, when the Bollinger Bands face down and they point down, obviously we're 65% more likely to remain above the top of the middle of the range. That is the law of Bollinger Bands, 65% chance of remaining in that area. But when it's pointing down, it's you want it to be at least horizontal, really, and then if even better than that, you want it to be poking up, to pointing to the direction. That gives you better options for supports and making higher lows. So we don't have that at the moment, obviously. The 50 exponential is horizontal. The 10 is pointing up. The 21 is more or less pointing up ever so slightly, but the Bollinger Band is still pointing down. So we need to remain above there. The support, again, at that level is basically where we came down to yesterday. 29,372 is where it is at the moment. Let's have a look at momentum. Still quite good, but not picked up into overdrive mode. We've got 3 ticks on the histogram with a positive cross, obviously, but we're below the 0 point. So as far as any roaring moves concerned, or large continuation moves, not really looking to see that until we get crossed above there. So let's have a look at the 4 hour to see if that's good or bad, or basically, nonchalant. It's actually quite good. Same deal as the daily. In fact, we came down to a Bollinger Band, got retested and bounced on that as well. The 200 exponential and the 20 moving average is sitting at 29,462, adding a nice support level at that area too. So we got still supports between the 29,370, we'll call it, 29,345. So there's plenty of reason to assume continuation on this run. And again, like we said yesterday, the trend signal is still in play. It's still in play now on the 4 hourly. This is a Ichimoku conversion baseline cross above the cloud. And the price action and the Chiku span, the price action is above the cloud, Chiku span is above price action, so that gives you a trend signal. So the trend should still be in play. And again, we're sitting around these supports at the moment ever so slightly, just over tiny little bit above, a fraction above. So that's all looking quite good still. So it's more or less the same deal as yesterday. In fact, it's slightly better because as we're making this video, we're still we're back down at the supports. You can't get bearish until we lose those supports. I would obviously get bearish closing at this point now below 29,300. You'd start to consider bearish moves, and obviously 29,100 you'd have cancelled out the 4 hourly trend signal. So at that point, it'll be a failed rally, and nothing more than that. But for the moment, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Looks quite good. So let's move over to traditional markets. In fact, just before we do that, feel free to go down into the link in the description. I have a Patreon, you can ask me questions twice a week on these live streams. They can run for as much as 2 hours. And I just thought, I saw this today. This is one of the things that was brought to our attention by one of the Patreon members. And I remember looking at it thinking, look, it's a, I'm not going to swear on it, but it's one of those lower cap useless coins. But it had a good setup. I said, look, we might be looking for a breakout on this one. It's gone into a long sideways period within this area. You break out from this descending trend line and you get a move. And so you did get a move. So anyone who took that trade after seeing that on the Patreon, fair play to you. Anyway, let's get into traditional markets. We'll start with a euro dollar. So let's have a look at this. The euro dollar moving up. Excellent. That's good. That's good, because every moment that we're above 109 offers continuation. We're probably looking for a rejection, at least on the first pass, around 110.05. Let's check it to a 4 hourly. And again, I know we've got CPI coming through and blah, blah, blah. In fact, when is that? Is that today? Let me just double check all of this. Inflation 10th. It is today. So something's going to happen today. We're going to find out core inflation. We're going to find out whether CPI is hot, cold, or neutral. I don't think it's going to be anything special, not this time. However, check out oil. She's broken 83, so it's every moment that we're above 83 points to higher inflation later on down the line. Maybe not this time round, but the time after that. But yeah, for the moment, the euro is okay, looking okay. So we're moving above all major moving averages, similar to that of Bitcoin on a 4-hourly, but not quite as bullish. And again, we're looking for a rejection ever so slightly higher than where we are right now. But stand back and admire the chart. It is a bullish chart on the daily. Higher highs, higher lows, continuation. 2 drives of hidden bullish divergence, and we look like we could potentially make a cross over the next few days. But today is not a day for forex trading. It's a gambler's market today with the CPI coming through. So just sit back, watch and wait to see what happens when the dust settles. S&P Futures buying the dip on the bottom of the Bollinger Band on the daily here. Fair play to you. And on the 4-hourly, we are messy, but it is a 200 exponential golden cross retest. So a buy the dip is probably appropriate at this level. A breakout will take place, I would imagine, above this Bollinger Band center, sitting more or less at where the rejection has been on this current 4-hourly candle body. 4,500. There's no real signs of extreme momentum either way. 3 drives of bullish divergence, regular bullish divergence on the RSI there, so that's quite good. 2 drives of hidden bearish divergence on the 4-hourly, that's cancelled out now. So I'd be looking for this one to spring up on this one and maybe make its way just a little bit higher. But if we can break above the 50 exponential, which is 4,514, we'd probably be looking for a new local high on this one. And if that is the case, then we have to start to consider where the top is going to be on this. It's definitely reset as far as momentum is concerned. So actually, I know Bloomberg have been talking about the old $5,000 S&P price target, which, my views on that could happen. They could be right after all. Or maybe we get front run and it goes to 4,999 and Captain Newmaster gets absolute wrecked because he put his sell order up at 5,000 as Bloomberg suggested. So we'll see what happens with that. Finally, we'll finish with gold. Gold now finding itself a little bit of support just above this daily 200 exponential. That would be a great place to have taken a position. We might still get that far as well, because if we're looking at the MACD, we're still pointing down, crossing down below the 0 point, in fact. So there will be a good position on gold down at these low levels. If we don't get it and we actually move up from here, so be it. If we do get it, I reckon that would be a good place to take a position, because we'll be looking to go back up to 2,000 and probably higher than that, maybe a new all-time high on gold, with or without inflation running high. Inflation can go either way. I still think gold's going to benefit. Right, so that's basically it. If you have a particular altcoin that you want me to look at, let me know in the comments. If there's something worth talking about, I'll talk about it. For the most part, there's not. There was only a few that we were looking at on the Patreon that had any kind of particular setup, and I wouldn't have even taken this trade myself because the volume is so low. But I saw that Chainlink was running, and that was one of my favourite charts of the live stream. Let's just have a quick look at that before I depart for the day. Yeah, so it is technically in the green. In fact, it's better than the green. It's broken out of a descending triangle, and what we see is a pump signal that's been generated on this one. So yeah, Chainlink is still good. There was one other one. I think it was StormX, wasn't it? I'm not suggesting that you take trades in any of these things. I'm just looking at them just to see how they've matured, mostly for the Patreon members who are still watching. So this one so far has not run. We were looking at this on a Bollinger Band strategy more than anything else. So that's failed. The next opportunity for StormX would be down here at the 200 exponential, as we've just freshly got a golden cross on the daily, which normally has decent follow through. So if you manage to get a pullback into, what is this, 0.54 of a cent, there's probably an opportunity for StormX. And it would only be a dead cat bounce, I think, now that we've lost that area, but it would be a decent one back up to 0.74. Anyway, it's not all bad. There is definitely opportunity in this market, as we can see. And even Bitcoin itself is not it's not written off, not quite yet. We'll see how the day goes, and we'll see what happens with CPI and see how the markets behave with all of that. But looking at these charts, taking them on face value, they do still actually look like they generally all still want to go up. Bitcoin, gold, S&P, Euro. And we'll see if that is still the case at bedtime tonight. Right, thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Patreon. See you tomorrow.